hope you're all doing well and taking care, and welcome to this brand new Doctor Who video on the channel. So for today's video, of course, I want to talk about this year's Doctor Who Children in Need special, which aired last night. And I just want to say from the get-go, I really enjoyed this little Doctor Who mini episode. It really was a joy to watch. It wasn't anything too serious or anything too major or anything like that. It wasn't as serious as, for example, Born Again, which was the 2005 Children in Need special. So I do understand why some fans weren't that hugely impressed, but still, I really enjoyed this episode, and it was mainly because of David Tennant himself, because we got a little glimpse of him back as the 14th Doctor, and I think it's safe to say now that David Tennant has definitely still got it. It was just great to see him back in the role. He was very iconic with the way he still said his lines and his humour, and there was also this really nice line where he was like, 1 hour ago I was this brilliant woman, which of course was a reference to the fact that this is the 14th Doctor, not the 10th Doctor. This is after, of course, he regenerated from the 13th Doctor, so that was a nice little reference there. Again, it's proof that Russell T Davies isn't erasing the 13th Doctor error or anything like that. Don't worry. Even behind him, we still had the 13th Doctor's TARDIS interior as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that's done going forward. I'd imagine because the set was dismantled before the 60th anniversary specials actually started filming, that it will change at some point in the Star Beast. But yeah, for now, he's still got the 13th Doctor's TARDIS interior, which was cool. Moving on to the actual plot now. It wasn't anything too major. Basically, the Doctor accidentally landed on Scarrow, and it was actually accidentally during the creation, the genesis of the Daleks, and we got to see Davros return. He was played by Julian Breach, who did a great performance, and we'll get on to talk about him in just a minute. But yeah, with the plot, the Doctor accidentally landed during the creation of the Daleks, and it was actually a paradox by himself, by mistake, because with him landing during this creation, it was himself who actually gave Davros the idea for calling the Daleks in the first place, so that was a bit of a paradox. And also, it was his idea for having a toilet plunger as one of the Daleks' armour. So yeah, we found out quite a lot really, that the Doctor was accidentally quite responsible for some elements of the creation of the Daleks. I do think that was just a fun little thing to do. I don't think it was anything too serious, but you never know. Technically, this could be a plot point for the future, maybe if the Daleks return in series 14 or another series in the years to come, maybe there'll be bigger revelations about that. But I think it most likely was just a little reference-y 60th anniversary thing to do, a bit of a paradox, but it won't really have any consequences longer term. One of the complaints I have seen quite a lot on social media with this minisode is that the humour, it was more humorous than, like I said earlier, it was more humorous than we saw with Born Again, for example, back in 2005, which was a more serious introduction to the 10th Doctor. But I still generally enjoyed this minisode, and I found the humour quite well, especially from the Doctor. I was laughing quite a few times at this episode. I thought the humour landed, it wasn't cringy or anything like that. The music was maybe a bit too comedy, it was a bit over the top, I do agree with that. But we've got to remember, this was just a fun mini-sode for Children in Need. It wasn't supposed to be anything too deep or anything like that. And I'm sure with the 60th anniversary specials themselves, it won't have this tone. So I don't think we have to worry about that too much. This was just a little bit of fun. It wasn't meant to be anything too serious because it was Children in Need at the end of the day. With Davros, this is where things do get a little interesting, because after this minisode, we also got a little mini episode of Doctor Who Unleashed as well. And Russell said that going forward with Davros, we will no longer see Davros in his Dalek chair, and that going forward, he will just be played how he was in this episode. Personally, my opinion on this, and this is of course just my own opinion, but I feel this change, it can work. I feel Davros can still be a great villain without the chair, and also potentially without the scarring as well. And I feel Julian kind of proved that last night, because from watching his brief performance as Davros, I still got the impression this is still someone very much in charge. This is someone you would definitely not want to mess around with, someone quite sinister. And at the end of the day, this is still the mastermind, the inventor of the creation of the Daleks, the ultimate creatures, deadliest creatures in the universe. And yeah, I feel like these changes can work. Obviously, it depends longer term on what the writing in the future would be like. Who is playing Davros from now on? Is it always going to be Julian? Is it going to be kind of still changing throughout time? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I feel like this change can work. The only thing I would say is that I hope they don't change the canon so that Davros was never how he was in the first place, because I just feel that could potentially put a lot of sourness into Davros, because when rewatching past Davros stories, I just worry it would take away from them, because in the back of your mind would just be you thinking this story technically no longer exists, at least how we're watching it anymore. And I don't really like that. I don't really think that's the best way to do it. I feel the best way forward is either always have Davros appear before the genesis of the Daleks. You could do that and just have more stories with a much earlier version of Davros. Or just have it the next time Davros pops up, just change his appearance and don't really address it. We all know the real reason from Russell himself. And yeah, Davros is still, I'm sure he could find a way around it or something like that to change his appearance if we need headcanon and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I would prefer they go down that route rather than just retconning the history of Davros. That doesn't feel right. I feel like it would put a lot of sourness into Davros stories. I don't really like that approach. So yeah, that's my kind of opinion on the subject. Overall, I did really enjoy this minisode. Like I've said, it wasn't anything too serious. It definitely had more of a more comedic vibe to it, but I did really enjoy it, and it did its main job of getting me excited for the return of David Tennant as the Doctor. I feel David Tennant has definitely still got it. He's iconic as ever, and I really can't wait now for the 60th anniversary specials. But yeah, in the comment section below, please let me know your own thoughts on this. Did you enjoy the minisode? Were you expecting something a bit more serious? Let me know in the comments below. We'll have to wait and see if we see Davros pop up again in the future. We could be having all these discussions and then Davros doesn't appear ever again. It just decides if Russell wants to bring him back or not. But like I said, if he does come back, I feel like he can still be a great Doctor Who villain, but obviously it'll depend on the writing, so yeah, we'll have to wait. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up if you can, because it really helps me out, and of course subscribe for more Doctor videos coming soon. Thanks all for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.